Hi, my name is Brandon, and over the past year, the Delight Cafe team and I have traveled across the U.S. researching this rapidly growing industry of CBD products. What we have found throughout the industry were products that were inconsistent in dosage and used ingredients that weren't even lab tested. Products with chalky textures, bitter aftertaste, and worst of all, confusion among the CBD consumers. That's why we created Delight Cafe. A 15 milligram, lab-tested, all-natural, water-soluble hemp CBD powder pack. It's odorless, colorless, and tasteless. Add it to your favorite drink of choice, wherever, whenever, on the go. Quickly find your calm, your balance, and your delight when you need it most.
Good morning. Good morning. Java Delight will uplift you. Stay tuned. The show is about to begin. Grab your coffee. Stay tuned. This show is about to begin.
Hi, my name is Gavin Kerr.
My name is Brandon Croucher.
And you're watching Java Delight.
Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell.
Enjoy the show. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Gavin Kerr. I'm joined here with Brandon Croucher, and this is Java Delight. How you doing this morning, Brandon?
I am good. I have a question for you, and you will have an answer. So, have you ever looked at the sizes of your clothes and noticed how different the size is from different companies?
Oh,
So,
okay. You only asked half the question. You confused me.
I realized what I was missing.
Yeah.
I literally this morning was picking out a shirt, and I have 3 pink shirts, okay?
Yeah.
And the first one I saw was a medium pink shirt, and it looked to be the biggest of all my shirts. And I'm like, and I know it fits me nice. So then I'm like, all right, let me grab this one. What's this? Extra large. And then this shirt is an extra large. But I'm like, how can these be shorter than the one that's a medium? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I totally got thrown off this morning with that, and I was looking at my clothes going, well, how many other of my things do that? Dude, I have sweaters that are smalls that fit me better than the sweaters that are extra larges. And it what the interesting thing is the more expensive the clothes were, the more it fit me. Or the more it was smaller on me. And I'm like, wait a minute, why would that be the case? That's just weird to me.
Yeah, so that's just based on brand. That's the same thing with shoes too. I found different shoes, they tend to fit me better or worse. It's oftentimes the material that it's made out of. More expensive clothes tend to have a little bit of a stretch to them, and they're made a little bit smaller for whatever their size is. So that way it's a better fit for your person. Because you got to think they're making clothes that are small, medium, large, but they're making them for anybody in that approximate size to fit. So it all comes down to the different material that they're making it out of, how elastic it's going to be, how comfortable it's going to be, how breathable, and then on top of that, how long it's going to last.
Right, but still, if a medium shirt should not look bigger than a extra large.
I'm not a clothing designer.
You are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I looked you up a long time ago. You that's why I picked you, Gavin. You are my clothing designer. You have a fashion. Okay, moving on. Oh my God, I am here first. Jessica Dugas wins.
Hey, Jess.
I'm here too, Jess, just in case you didn't see that. So we cannot post to some destinations. So, Gavin, this morning I woke up and I was looking up a couple other places that were doing live streams and seeing what they were doing. And I appreciate the fact that you and I don't just sit here half naked and expect people to watch. Like, everything that we're... Okay, now I think I understand why OnlyFans works. You don't see my comment. See, I'm wondering if there's something with that, because I like whenever I comment from this part, I'm always told nobody could see it. So
maybe nobody just recognizes your comments. Like they see it, but they just don't accept it.
I don't see your comment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see your comment. I don't recognize it. It doesn't exist.
Oh, we had Naked Saturday on. I'm sorry. What? I know that she does a Saturday morning like team building thing, and like with leaders and stuff. We had Naked Saturday on the coffee last weekend. What? Who was naked? How were they naked? Jessica Dugas, you didn't come on yesterday. Part of me wants to make you come on today because Joe's not coming here to work us out in any way. So I want to know what you're doing that's getting you to get that like naked time on Saturdays and all that, because that just seems...
It is Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is Wednesday.
It feels like it's been longer in the week.
Dude, this week has felt like a month. And it's only Wednesday.
It's only Wednesday.
If you could pick what month this would feel like, what month would you think this is?
November.
Honestly, that's funny. That was the exact same month I was just thinking.
I think November is the most painful month out of the year to get through. I don't know why. It's just stale and long and boring. And it's like, and you're waiting for December and the New Year and Christmas and holidays and like it's, you know, there's, I don't know, there's nothing exciting going on in November.
I think my PayPal just got hacked. Sorry, I got
This is such a depressing show this morning. Shit. November sucks. Jessica Dugas is sick. Your PayPal got hacked.
Like, honestly, I looked at my PayPal and someone from a Samsung Chrome mobile device in New York City just tried to log into my account. And I hit change password and it sent me to something else. And I don't think this is a PayPal email because it came from some random thing. Services non-declare. What the? All right, I have to take care of this later. I hope they don't buy anything while I'm on air. So, Gavin, how are you doing and how was your day yesterday? What'd you get into?
My day was good overall. Yesterday, I finally cleaned up the yard a bit. It's been raining nonstop lately, so especially in the back, because I don't pick up dog poop. I had a jungle back there. It was all watered and fertilized and just growing crazy. So I was finally able to get that under control. I was planning on mowing the front today because it wasn't so bad that I felt like I had to do it yesterday, but it looks like it's going to rain, so I might not do that. I do have laundry to do. I also have a between the notes later today that I'm doing, and that is with that is with Siren's Rain. So I'll be doing that later today. But yeah, yesterday, so I did some laundry, did some more cleaning of the house in the backyard. Then I had a trivia night.
Siren's Rain? I don't know this band. What do they sound like?
In all complete honesty, I've listened to them probably 2 or 3 times, and that was weeks ago when we originally had it.
I honestly thought you like listened to them like recently. That's why I was saying it. I'm sorry. Threw you under a bus.
I always listen to them when I was listening to the bands when I first get them, and then I listened to them again later. I was trying to listen to them last night, but I ended up getting distracted.
That was not to you, just so you know. That was to Miss Dugas. I received a text while we were on air yesterday, and my response, I said, just call me Mrs. Doubtfire 2. You know? Yeah. And so she's waiting for it. She needs someone who can cook, who can clean, who can... PayPal won't let me log out or check what's going on now. This is a lot of fun. Oh, well. Like I said, I got to figure that out later. So I'm going to ignore that and go right to my phone and turn it off so I don't get any more distractions that are keeping me from our conversation, because I could tell I'm distracted on this today, but I'm more distracted on what was going on with it. Ooh, there's my voice. Not what I wanted.
You're good. Yeah,
right.
so then I had a trivia night last night. That was overall it was fun. It's been a while since I've done trivia. I screwed up a couple of the questions. And then I also was doing Do You Want to Be a Millionaire? Which I've never done before. So it's nothing difficult. Instead of every question being 10 points, it was like 1,000 points, 2,000, so on and so forth. But I had like 15 teams, so it just took me forever to grade the papers. And then on top of that, I ran out of my answer sheets, so people were using blank papers. And I don't know what possessed them to answer this way. I told everybody just number your questions 1 through 10, answer A, B, C, or D. I had one team write out the entire question and all the answers and then circle their answer. I had another team who like put down the letter and the answer, but it would all look like chicken scratch. It looked like middle schoolers' notes for yeah, but like early middle school when they put all their notes into one like packet, still like one notebook.
Yeah.
So I had that's what it looked like. And so there were a couple people that I accidentally graded their things wrong, and they were not happy about that. But at the same time, when I corrected them, I think it made them even more upset because it showed that it didn't matter and that they still won or lost. So it was like, this was irrelevant. I'm sorry I messed up your paper, but you just caused stress for both of us for no reason. Here's your gift card. Have a great night.
Wait, because the winners get a gift card.
Yeah, the winners still get a gift card, yeah.
Where were you at, Hatfields?
No, I was at the basement.
Oh, I haven't been there in years. Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then I got it again tonight at Teams, doing trivia tonight at Teams. So I'm gonna change a couple things with the scoring and stuff just to make the grading process go quicker, because I know that I'm gonna have a lot of teams. And then I'm also going to run to the store to get some more ink for my computer or for my laptop or for my printer. I'm tired.
I could see that. Well, there is something good there. We could upload the video intro that she sent Gavin while you talk, and then your jaws could hit the floor on air. So Jessica sent you your new intro. Do you want to go check it out?
Sure. Where do I find it?
Good morning, Sherry McQueen. It's good to I have no idea. She said you could upload the video, the intro I sent Gavin. So I'm assuming she sent it to you. Sherry McQueen, it's good to see you there. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Oh, Jessica. Yeah, she sent it on Facebook. Okay, let me go find that. Oh, good morning, Sherry McQueen. How you doing today?
Jessica Dugas, good to see you. I need to know more about this like naked situation in bed, and well, that sounds wrong, but it made for an interesting start to the day. So this Saturday Naked Coffee, I know that you get together with a group of leaders and you guys all talk about how to help each other, build each other up and all this. Why was it naked? Does it just release all inhibitions and everybody knows nothing to be embarrassed about? It's like when you're going to give a speech, they tell you to picture everybody in their underwear. What was this? Just everybody get naked in bed and have the sheets just cover your tatas? Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm confused on this.
Because clothes are awful.
I agree with that. Like, we've already gotten into that. Don't get me going up and down on this, like, medium to extra large scale. Like, I'm going to take a picture of both pictures and show you guys. It made me so disappointed. I felt so good about myself, Gavin. I'm like, oh, I got, like, a medium on today. And then I grabbed the other one to see which one would look better, and I put the other pink shirt on, and I get, ooh, Brandon. Like, why is this an extra large? And why is the extra large so much tighter than the medium? And then I realized one's Banana Republic and the other one is like Arizona brand from Kohl's clearance rack.
Nice.
Mandy Atterbury, we love you and glad you're here. Good morning. Good morning. We declared Saturdays we declared Saturday Naked Saturday. So wait, how do I get invited to this? And how naked is naked? Like, there's no showing of anything. Like, I'm not going to show my Pepe or anything like that. But I would be curious about how I can actually participate because I love what you're doing on your Saturdays. It's kind of like, well, this is where we're naked on camera, and you wonder if they have pants on under the camera. Oh. So technically, Gavin and I are playing right now. Gavin, did you put pants on this morning?
Yeah.
I did too. I put cargo shorts on. Good
I got the
morning,
video uploaded, by the way.
Oh, I was just stalling for a second while you were getting that ready. Morning, Sister Sherry. I'm doing great. How are you? Good morning, Jessica. I love the love that's going on here. Guys, say hello from wherever you are, and please give us that respect of the subscribe, the like, and the share. We are at 249 subscribers. We are 51 away from our 300 goal by the end of this month. We are entering, what is today, the 19th or 20th? Like, we're coming
21st.
So I'm even more effed. So guys, there's like 9 days left. Help us reach our goal of 300 subscribers.
Need somebody help. Just anybody help. That's all I know of the song.
Need somebody help. Not just anybody help. Fuck, man, you made me forget it.
It made you use your F word too.
Oh, be glad you're sitting that far away because I would have thrown something at you. I'm glad to hear you're great. I'm doing amazing. I'm on 62 subs. Mandy Atterbury, high five. I'm proud of you. All right, Gavin, blow us away. Show us exactly what we're looking for.
I'm just clicking a button. Jessica Dugas made this, so she's going to be the one blowing us away. This is going to be the intro video to Between the Notes from here on out.
Here we go. I didn't touch anything.
That's pretty awesome. I dig it. Thank you. Hell yeah. That was dope.
Oh my god, that was she made that in like a night.
Yeah,
she's so fucking. She is so talented, Like every single time I talk to her, she's like, for real. Jessica Dugas, you get a standing ovation. Be glad I'm wearing pants.
No, that's pretty awesome. I like that a lot. Thank you. Hell yeah.
Dude, take a bow, she says. So yes, I curtsy for you. Oh. That's funny. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Stuart Lone Wolf's here. Stuart, I've loved you coming back in. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Sending you good. Way not to use your your one F shot, B. I used it on you, Jess. I said how awesome yours was.
We wasted a good surprise on you.
He wasted your good F-bomb on you. Like, I give one a day. I had a meeting yesterday with somebody we interviewed on the show, and we were talking, and he goes, so I have a question. I'm like, yeah. He goes, why do you give everybody an F? Like, you give everybody one F word a show. And I'm like, well, because you know that there's times it just fits way better, and you need to have something like that.
It's a great exclamation.
It is. And I'm like, so we give everybody one. We just ask everybody to be fair. Don't, like, be like, mother, like, don't make it where we have to censor it like that. But, like, have some fun. If you knew what song I was singing there, that'd be more impressive. If you could tell me the artist, I'd be even more impressed. Actually, exactly. High five. Woo! Yeah. You get a life point for that one. You get a life point.
There's 3 life points you've given me.
Today or in life?
In general so far. That you've acknowledged anyway. Because you gave me 2 for something like a week or 2 ago.
Yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
It was. And then in Vegas, I gave you a whole bunch. I gave you like 5. When you drove, I gave you one day, I gave you, I think, 10.
Oh. Why the hell aren't you telling me about this?
I did.
Did you?
I did. I know I did, because I always call out my life points.
Did you? Or was it one of those things where you think you told me, but you just said it in your head? Because I do that a lot. I did that. I did that the other day. I was in bed, and I asked I was all like, oh, I'm going to get my sunglasses because the sun's coming up and it's shining in my eyes. And then I realized I did that all in my head. You ever gotten dressed in your head, ready for work? You're getting in your car, and then you wake up and you're still in bed. You're like, what the hell just happened in the last 5 minutes? You ever do that? I've gotten ready for my day completely, and then wake up still in bed, like I time traveled.
Honestly, that is hilarious that you say that because I feel like I've done that.
Yeah.
But I can't give you the last time I remember doing that. But I haven't done it in a while, but I have done that in the past. Like I've had dreams. Mine is not like I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm getting dressed or anything like that. If I have a dream and it's very vivid and detailed, it always comes true.
Sorry, I got caught mid-yawn. Have you ever been like laying in bed with like somebody or like significant other or something like that? Or like you're at a friend's house, like you're like almost completely passed out, and you tell them something, but you don't actually tell them. You just say it in your head, and you think that you said it out loud, and then the next day you remember saying it, and you're like, "What the hell? We already talked about this. Like, why didn't you do this?" Or like you're just confused.
Yeah, I've done that. So Jessica is just like having fun today. Did you see what she wrote? Java Delight, we're not Jerry Springer, just a little bit of Ricky Lake. You bleeping yourself out is hilarious. Oh, you should see me when I'm trying to be polite. Like, you mother, father, sister, brother. Jeez. That's Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I live a little bit of Groundhog Day pretty regularly.
I think you do. So I think it's funny. So we have a great guest coming on today. You and I were talking about him before. His name is Craig Gray. He's not looking to go. He doesn't believe life is black and white. He believes there's always room for gray in the middle. Speaker of Krav Maga instructor, conflict communication expert, and former bodyguard. Craig Gray founded the PeaceWalker program and protector lifestyle community to reach your average Joes. The simple methods for protecting yourself and your loved ones from harm. So he's going to be on here in a little bit, and Gavin and I were having some fun this morning talking. Most of you don't know, I have zero self-defense skills. I know how to shoot a gun, but that's about it. And I know when to shoot a gun and clean it and all that. I want to be cautious with how I say that. It's not like I'm just walking around shooting guns in the air. But this is what, yay! We were talking today, and Gavin and I both were talking about what it would look like. So this is what I would look like if I'm teaching self-defense.
Bloqueo, paso por abajo y no. Ahí. No.
Like, Gavin, is that you in any way? Like,
no.
I think, who told these people it is okay to put this? I'm sorry, he pulls the money out of his pocket, throws it to the ground, and then grabs the gun.
I want to know who the hell is coming up to somebody from either side. Like if you and I were holding somebody up, why would we stand on either side and pointing the guns at each other? And not only that, with our arms completely stretched out, leaning into them.
Right?
Anybody who's ever shot a gun or knows how to hold a gun would never stand like that.
100,050% yes.
Yeah.
Like, I agree 100%. It was cracking me up. So
who just has that cash on them to confetti blind to somebody like that?
You think you could get me?
Yeah.
Like, he forgot you're supposed to go like this, not throw it at them. Like, gosh, make it rain on the people. So I looked at this and I watched some of this video and was cracking the hell up because these guys they're trying very hard to teach people proper ways, and self-defense is something that everybody, I believe, should know a little bit about. because you need to be able to take care of yourself. If you're walking in public, you need to, I believe it should be something that personally, I want both my sisters to do it. My future significant other, I think, should know how to do it, because you never know when you're going to need to protect yourself. And that's just a proper thing. Go ahead.
I'm really surprised that it's not an elective that you could take in high school for like a gym credit.
You know, that's a good point. But the thing is,
Yeah.
that means that the physical education teachers would have to actually get approved in it and certified in it, which I'm not against.
Why not? Yeah, they should. Absolutely.
Because, all right, so I ran a program with a bunch of physical education teachers. By the way, don't ever just call them gym teachers. It's apparently
it's like calling a custodian a janitor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's very offensive. I did that many times and they wanted to kill me. Like, I can't tell you how many of these teachers were like, no, I'm a physical education teacher. And I'm like, okay, cool. Then let's get
that's the PC term right now.
So they they would have to get
next year it's going to be they're going to be a biophysical engineer.
I'm just going to let you have that one.
So it's going to be
biophysical, yeah, whatever. But they would have to get certified in this, which means they would have to go get another certificate, which they would probably have to pay for because the state's not doing it. And when you look at how much they're taking away from these things, schools don't pay attention to PE. They don't pay attention to shit, man. They're pulling math and science out. Like the history, they're changing. Like, do I think there needs to be changes? Yes. Do I think there needs to be things that can be brought to attention? Yes. Do I think that we're just making changes because nobody knows what's really going on? I can't say that's really what's happening, but it does feel like that a lot. It feels like we're just trying to make everybody happy at all times, and that's not plausible. You can't change the past, but you can accept that there were faults in the past that we need to bring into the future to make it a better world. But that's just me. Do you know how to defend yourself using your keys? I actually do. The Dugas Academy is fun. LOL. I honestly, Jessica, I 100% would come down there and I want to learn how to self-defense versus the 87 Dugases, because I think if I can make a video of self-defense when you have a family of that's like an army coming at you, I think we can make a self-defense video. And what we'll do is I'll
can reenact the Kill Bill scene.
Yes, perfect. And if anything, as her kids are coming up, I'll smack them away just like that guy doesn't. I don't care if you're a 3-year-old, kick him over. I don't care if you're 9, boom, in the face. Yeah, no?
No, I can very clearly imagine you punching a 9-year-old in the face. Yeah. Yeah.
That one's for you. The best form of self-defense is the ability to de-escalate a situation. Physical force should be the last resort. 100%, Stuart. Right with you. Sharon
if we're going to use physical force, the way those guys were doing it is definitely not the way.
Pull them into each other so they hit their heads, you know?
Yeah. Can you pull up the one video you want me to pull it up of that girl who gets dropped by her boyfriend? Have you seen that?
I have. I didn't. It wasn't in the video that I picked this morning. You're gonna have to look really quick because I can't. Yeah, it was amazing how many self-defense videos are out there. Like, for real. Totally agree with you, Stuart. Correct my sister Sherry. And then Jessica Dugas. You keep saying, I'm coming down, but missed out by a 2.0 has not come to my door and dishes need done. And I'm now hungry/hangry. LOL. And yes, I read it with that accent. So am I supposed to have like a totally different voice? Like Mrs. Doubtfire was like, oh, it caught me on my breath.
All right. I got it here. And the reason why this is so funny to me is just her confidence and the fact that she learned in self-defense class, but she's attacking him.
Pull it up. Yeah. Part 2? Oh my gosh, yes.
Do I have the audio shown? I don't think I did. Damn it. One sec. Try that again.
Hey, Gavin, I'm gonna mute myself and unplug myself while you're doing that. Apparently, my microphone is giving some feedback. I don't know if you're hearing it. I just received 2 different text messages from it.
I don't hear it, but go ahead.
Hey guys, here's part 2 of me attacking my husband. But fear not, I took some self-defense lessons this morning and I think I can take them. Hey babe, you want to see what I learned in defense class today?
No.
Why not? You a pussy?
The hell were you recording for?
Don't worry about it, come on.
Oh my fucking god.
You ready?
Whatever.
Ah!
She gonna get my money back.
Oh!
I don't remember. I feel bad that she got hurt, but his reaction and his response is exactly like something I would do. I don't care.
I don't feel bad that she got hurt because she still yells back at him, "Hey, I love you," and he goes, "Whatever."
I love how his walking away is, "I want my money back."
Yeah. He wanted nothing to do with that situation. She came up, she provoked him, she challenged him. Like the whole time she did nothing but talk crap about it.
Correct.
And then, and she did choose the surface.
That's the thing I laughed at. Like they were already. He was sitting on the patio.
Yeah.
He was sitting on the patio, and you made him come inside. Like Gavin, if you and I are doing that, and you pick the inside, and you go to kick me like that, I'm gonna drop you. Like for real.
If I'm gonna do anything like that, I'm gonna make sure that we're on like grass or a pad or something where on the chance that I do get knocked on my ass, I'm not gonna get a concussion.
Thank you, because she looked like she was in pain. I do not want her in pain.
Oh yeah. No,
and that was her husband, and you could see he tried to avoid getting into that with her, but it was hilarious to watch him just like, he's like, nope, catch, kick, bye. And then walks away. The confidence in his walk.
I love you, and he's like, yeah, leave me alone. I'm going back to doing anything else.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right, so Gavin, we have our guest Craig that's going to come on, and he's going to teach us some self-defense and what got him into it. What?
Craig.
Have
you ever watched Malcolm in the Middle?
Oh my gosh, I have not seen this one. Not as funny as the guy that pulled the gun on the UFC fighter. I don't know this one. Have you seen the one of the guy in the bathroom, the UFC fighter in the men's room, and they keep picking on him when he's at the thing? He got mad.
Yeah, that's a great example of stupid drunk guys.
Yes, that's 100% what it is. 100% what it is. But guys, we have Craig coming up here in about the next half hour. Craig Gray, he's a self-defense expert. He teaches Krav Maga. Did I say that right?
Maybe. I think so.
Okay. He helps us take our average Joes and turns them into stud muffins like Gavin. So I say all that to say, Gavin, I'm ready for you when you are with the next video. And then Gavin and I are going to create a new segment since Joe is not feeling well still. And it is going to be dad jokes. Gavin and I are going to try to tell each other jokes, and neither of us are allowed to laugh. Sound good, buddy?
Yeah, Stuart, I'm not sure which one you're talking about. I looked up on YouTube and found a bunch of them. Go ahead and send us in the video. Yeah. And we'll pull it up.
I want to see it. Pull it up, Gavin! That's what they want to see. All right, well, we wait for that. You and I are going to start. So do you want to go first, or should I go first?
You can go first. We're not supposed to laugh. That's the rules, right? We're trying to make each other laugh.
The goal is to tell the joke, and you and I are going to try not to make each other laugh. If you laugh, it's a point to the other person. Okay?
All right. Sounds good.
All right, here we go. And we go one after another, okay?
Okay.
Why do melons have weddings?
Why?
Because they can't elope.
I couldn't get a reservation at the library. They were fully booked.
If the early bird gets the worm, I'll sleep in until there's pancakes.
Did you hear the story about the cheese that saved the world? It was legend. Wait for it. Dairy. It's How I Met Your Mother reference in that one.
What kind of car does a sheep like to drive?
A Honda.
A what?
Like a Honda, but Baja.
Oh, no, I was going with a Lamborghini.
Ah.
I get that one. All right, go ahead.
What do you mean you get that one?
I just thought it was a good one. I don't mean like
Oh,
no points.
okay. I thought you,
No
okay,
points. No
I
points.
thought you got a point on that one. I was all like,
Point to
bullshit, you get a
Gavin.
point on that.
Point to Gavin. Who? Why? Who got a point? Did I laugh? I laughed out loud at my own joke. Oh, does that count against me because I laughed at my own joke?
I wasn't going to say that. I don't know.
I guess we are. Mandy Atterbury's giving you a point. Gavin, 1-0.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm bringing the A game now. Here we go. Go.
On another topic, really quick. I am kind of irritated because I did have to get out my vacuum cleaner the other day. I had to throw it out. Yeah, it broke. It was just collecting dust.
Sorry about that, buddy. I was going to tell a time traveling joke, but you guys didn't like it. Where you at?
Oh, no, I just wanted you to marinate in the silence for a second.
Well played. Well played.
Yeah,
All right, so
yeah.
she says yes. That means that's why you got a point. Well played. All right, so go
Gotcha.
ahead.
Gotcha. Did you hear about the guy who invented the knock-knock joke? He won the Nobel Prize.
Gavin, you use dating apps, correct? Or you've used dating apps?
Yeah, not like recently, but yeah.
No. I made sure to rephrase my question. I realized what I asked. But like, I don't have dating apps, but everybody's out there trying to find the perfect match. Just use a lighter.
You know, I was never really a fan of facial hair, but then it grew on me.
I appreciate that. What does a karate master get rewarded while driving?
I don't know.
His seatbelt.
Oh. No.
You and I both aren't laughing in any way, and you just earned the mute button.
What did the traffic lights say to the crosswalk? Don't look, I'm changing.
Heard. So I tell dad jokes, but I don't have any I don't have any kids. That makes me faux pas.
What?
Faux pas. Do you know what a faux pas? Do you know what a faux pas is?
No, I have no idea.
It's all right. So a faux pas, faux pas. Mike, answer that. What's a faux pas? A faux pas is like mess up on something. Like you don't actually like mean what you were saying. Where a faux pas, it's like a fake father, papa, fa. You know what? Since you don't know what faux pas is, it doesn't make it funny. Go on.
Not in the slightest.
Nope.
Nope.
Go on.
What did baby corn say to mommy corn? Where's popcorn? He's at the gas station getting cigarettes. It's been 3 months.
I could still read your lips, shaking my head. He is saying it wrong. Bite me. What do you call a toothless bear?
I don't know.
A gummy bear.
A what?
A gummy bear.
Oh, okay.
All right, where does he get a point? Neither of us have laughed again.
It's just because I win. That's why. I got a 2, a 6, a 7, and a jack. I win.
Try to joke? Like, you said it wrong. What did I say wrong? Try to joke. I don't get the. You just did. I laughed there once before, and that was me and Gavin laughing. You know what? Go on, Gavin. Give me your next one.
It's okay, Brandon. I'm just funnier than you. Apparently, that's what it is.
You're better at dad jokes.
Yeah, I guess so. Do you know what you call a fake noodle?
No.
An impasta.
Give you a point. I did chuckle. What is Forrest Gump's password?
1, Forrest, 1.
Good job. What does a nosy pepper do?
What does a nosy pepper do?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, it gets all up in your business. Mandy, give me a point on that one. He smiled really big and then held his breath. I think that needs to count for something.
Definitely did not smile big or hold my breath. It was more of a, yeah.
That's holding your breath. It's pulling. You know what? We all lose this morning, Mike said. Apparently, dad jokes are not funny to anybody else.
Or these are just really bad dad jokes.
I honestly, yes. If a child refuses to nap, are they guilty of resisting arrest?
These are horrible.
He says if you hear these jokes before you have kids, did they make you sterile? Well, then I'm just going to keep reading them.
That was funny. I like that.
Yes! All right, you're up, buddy.
Which is faster, hot or cold?
I don't know.
Hot, because you can't catch a cold.
Interesting. So wouldn't that mean cold is faster? Because you can't catch it?
Yeah. That thing's wrong.
Thank you. I just want to give a shout out. R.I.P. Boiled water. You will be missed. So, tumbleweeds. All right.
Can we stop this bit?
Yeah, we could stop this bit. Hey, we tried
bad.
something. Honestly, we were reading these jokes before. All right, here, hold on. This section of mine
We were reading these jokes before, and Brandon was laughing.
Bite my butt.
I was kind of just sitting here like, yeah.
Which bathroom appliance would be your worst life preserver?
A sink?
Exactly what it says. A sink. Why would doors do so well on social media?
Hinges? Knobs?
Close. Yeah. Everyone looks for their handles. What kind of bird is always getting hurt?
A swallow.
An owl.
Ah.
Why do pancakes always win at baseball?
I have no idea for that one.
Because they have the best batter.
I prefer waffles.
Why couldn't the couple get married at the library?
They were all booked up.
And we're going to move on.
I said that one earlier.
I know. I saw it and I was like, I'm going to read this one. If Barbie is so damn popular, why do we have to buy all her friends? Very good. How do you make holy water?
Have friends.
Oh my God, yeah. Buddy, she has everything. Barbie, name something and Barbie has it for you to buy as well. Like, she has a Barbie mansion. She has a Barbie convertible. She has a Barbie minivan. She has a
Barbie sex dungeon.
You know what? I'd Google that right now, but I think that would just not come up with anything I really want to see right this second or could bring on air. How do you make holy water? You just boil the hell out of it.
I like that one.
I do like that one. A bird who hears these jokes. Whoo! I read it wrong.
What about what's that that tool that they use for a pap smear? They have a Barbie version of that.
Yes. It's called Barbie's Pap Smear.
Yeah. I think I have plenty of stuff. Yeah, see?
No.
Barbie doesn't have everything.
Did you know you can now buy a pregnant Barbie? I did know that. I did know that. My niece asked for one, and I asked
Doesn't it give
why.
birth? Like, can't like you take the baby out of it?
I don't know, but I want to now. Like, can the baby give birth? I didn't look that far into it. I have no idea.
I don't think it like gives birth. I don't think like you push on the stomach and a toy baby pops out of its crotch. But I think you can actually like open up the stomach compartment and take a baby out.
So it's like a C-section for a Barbie doll?
Yeah.
Yes, you can open her tummy.
Barbie C-section. Which I think is more graphic than if you would have made the toy have it naturally come out. But that's just me.
I have no rebuttal to any of this. I honestly, the only thing I can think of is how I used to play with my sisters, and they had a gajillion Barbies, and that was what they wanted to do together. And the only way I could have friends was playing Barbies with my sisters, apparently. So I always would play. They had the Barbie mansion, they had like the hot tub, they had the convertible. Somehow, even if I played Ken, I still couldn't pick up Barbie. Both my sisters were like, "No, Ken, leave me alone," and run away.
You just got bad luck, man.
I do. Women.
Maybe you gotta like change the game that you're playing. I don't know what you're doing wrong.
Stop playing with Barbies?
Well, yeah. Especially now, you're a 40-year-old man. That's kind of.
I am not 40. You. I am not 40. You. I don't like Barbie. I don't either. All right, so Gavin, tonight we have an episode of The H. It's going to be a great episode. We have a lot of fun people coming on. The conversation is going to be one that is all around. I forget exactly what her topic is because I'm trying to pull it up and the computer is just not moving as fast as I would like it to. But we have our guest tonight. She'll be on at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then we have Joe is maybe going to join us, but I know Ginger Kate is going to be joining us today. She's super excited. I don't know if you got to catch last week, but 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we're going to be doing an interview this afternoon or this evening, and it's going to be one of those where you're just going to want to turn into The H, an honest conversation about health, hemp, and happiness. But today we have Craig Gray. He's not black. He's not white. He's always gray. He's Craig Gray. He's a speaker, a Krav Maga instructor. He's been able to teach things. If you've ever wanted to learn about self-defense and training, Craig is your guy. He has the PeaceWalker Network and is the founder of the online curriculum and community for conflict management, leadership, and defense tactics. His unique approach helps people to clarify and develop a protector's lifestyle, which enhances every aspect of your personal and professional life. He has been all over the place. He has classes. He's offering up on his website right now if you sign up, a 6-day defense program for free. So we'll make sure we share those links later and all that. That way everybody is able to play around, have fun, and learn about some self-defense. I wish you and I were together today so he could like have you and I throwing each other around, but I don't think that would be safe. You and I would just turn into like a wrestling match, I think.
Maybe. I don't know.
Like, it'd be fun at first, and then one of us would get thrown to the ground like that girl did in the video earlier that you showed, and the other one would be like, "Oh, I'm getting my," and I'm going to beat out of the other person, and then we're going to start beating each other. Yes, I'm censoring myself today.
I feel like it would start. I feel like you would start to escalate things.
I always escalate things.
Yeah.
I push it to the limit with everything, with everyone. I love it. Like I remember being a kid, and when you had friends growing up, did you guys get outside and like wrestle and like throw each other around and stuff?
Yeah, sometimes we more rode bikes around town.
I did
kind
that.
of deal. But yeah, no, we did that sometimes. We did that, and then we set a lot of stuff on fire.
See, I didn't set stuff on fire. I do now. But yeah. I didn't then.
It was a lot of like Axe body spray cans and lighters, and then magnifying glasses and patience.
Really?
Yeah. We do that, or we put stuff on the train tracks for the trains to flatten and destroy. Like we would try to like derail trains. Like we'd find like huge like things of wood and just see how much stuff we could put on the train that it would just annihilate without like falling off. This is a train, you know? It's gonna be
You're not
fine.
going to stop it. Right.
Exactly,
You're not
yeah,
going to stop
exactly. But that was the goal. We're like, whoever derails the train wins. I think I was in like the seventh grade.
That's why the Big D and I get along. We're kindred spirits. It's that man is all or nothing. I heard that's what your relationship is like. It's all or nothing. So Mandy Atterbury has a joke for us. What did the big phone say to the little phone? I don't have an answer. I can't answer this one. So Gavin, tonight you and I are going to be doing trivia tonight, if I remember correct.
Yes.
What is your favorite part of trivia? Just curious, because I know Jessica Dugas absolutely despises trivia.
It's short. It's a 2-hour show, and I get paid the same amount. That's pretty neat.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a really good deal.
Yeah, and it lasts from 7 to 9, so it's like a nice little like window.
That's a perfect window
to
be able to.
Yeah, and I go read the questions, people answer them, and then I grade the papers. I call out some winners, and that's pretty much it. It consists of 40 questions total, 2 games, each of them with 20 questions, 2 rounds in each game. Each round has 10 questions. Stop halfway through. It's a good time.
That sounds like a great time.
Yep.
That sounds like a great time. So my question to you would be, I'm sorry, I'm sending Brett Gordon something right now, so he watches the show.
I was like, why did you message me? We're on the show together.
I messaged the group chat because I noticed Brian Tracy and Fernando aren't here, and I wanted to pick on them for not being here. I actually love trivia, but not on a show. It's not on a show, Miss Jessica Dugas. It is Jessica's responding to the group chat now too. That's where, like, this is where we need a Discord, so Jessica can just make fun of me. You know?
Yeah.
Boom. Damn right I am. All right, so how do you love Jessica? She's so amazing. So let me ask you, buddy, what do you with trivia? Who comes up with the questions? You, your people, like what? How do you come up with that? That's a lot.
It depends. It's different each time. So sometimes we'll get them from like online. We'll look up like trivia sites and stuff like that, and we'll get questions. Sometimes come up with them ourselves. Lately, I've been doing a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where it's like the actual game, the physical game that we bought, and we just read off of those questions.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Are they hard questions?
They get more difficult throughout the game, but then you also get more points if you get them correct.
When I'm loud, apparently everything gets crunchy. I just got another text saying something's wrong with my mic. I don't know. I'm trying, guys. I unhooked everything and reset it. I'm sorry that if it's crunchy, let me know so I could fix it. So with the trivia questions, is it always like that? Is it like, have you always done that? 'Cause I thought you actually spent more time actually getting like the questions together. 'Cause I remember you used to have like a handwritten paper of questions.
Oh yeah, no. So like I said, sometimes we go and we search up questions ourselves. Or if we just know things, we'll write down questions and answers. But most of the time, we find things online and we do them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very. Regis Philbin-Kerr. I don't know what that means.
I have no idea what that means.
Was that? Oh, here's Mandy's answer. Okay, sorry. What did the big phone say to the little phone? You too young to be engaged. I don't think that's what she meant to say. I think she's talking about you being engaged.
Oh, I'm not.
I know, but you were.
I was. But
I was
not.
You and I looked each other in the eyes one day and said, "We're done with this thing."
It's not what happened.
And we both broke up with our significant others. Looked each other in the eyes.
Left me.
and then
I'm
wanted
alright with
to
admitting
be.
that.
Nope, we wanted to be together, and we just
That's
cuddle.
not true either.
You want to cuddle me? Don't even lie. I
Nope.
am. Yep.
No.
Guys, he's. Oh, now I get it. Regis.
I slept in the same bed as Joe during the Vegas trip because Brandon was sprawled out all over the bed like a drunken toddler.
No, Brandon was like, I'm going to bed. And if nobody joined him, he went, ah, and just fell asleep.
Yeah. So the plan was for me, because Joe wanted to sleep in his own bed and I didn't care where I slept. The plan was for me to share the bed with Brandon. And he goes to bed, and Joe and I are like, all right, we're going to go down to the casino for a little bit. And we come upstairs, and Brandon is literally one arm hanging over the side, ass up, the other arm over here with his leg somehow parallel with it. And then the other leg was like this under his body. He was like all sorts of folded up. He looked like paper mache. It's like origami, Brandon. And Joe looked at me and he goes, "You want to sleep in my bed?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess."
How do I have the short? I have no problem sharing a bed. I really would have slept in your, like, you could have, if you would have said, like, hit me and be like, hey, like, I'm getting in bed, I would have rolled over, pulled the sheets over me and been like, cover, like, it's all yours, like, whatever side you need. But how do you and I end up sharing a bed and he gets the bed alone when I'm the one presenting and running around doing everything with that, and he gets to sit at a booth? He gets his own bed for that? I don't think that's fair.
He didn't get his own bed. I shared the bed with him.
I know he didn't get it because
why didn't I get my own bed?
You should have. You should have kicked Joe out of the bed in the middle of the night. You should have just been like, "Hey, Joe."
Apparently, I tried to. Apparently, I sleep box.
Hold on. I have slept in a bed with you once, and it was the most entertaining night of my life because you and I both were so out, we didn't know anything going on, and you roll over and put your arm around me at one point, and then in the morning, the first thing you say to me is I put my arm around you, and I'm like, "Yeah, buddy. Just so you know, you spooned me really close."
You did not put your arm around me. You grabbed me on the thigh.
Oh, that's right.
Isn't the first time. I stayed the night at my brother Logan's house one time, and it was really, really late, and I'm almost asleep, and I just feel this hand creeping up my thigh, and I look down, and then I look at him, and he's dead asleep, but he wakes up halfway through. He gets like halfway my thigh, wakes up, and he goes and pulls it back like I was an alligator getting ready to bite him.
I mean,
and the next morning we're walking to the corner store to get some food from the deli, and I look at him. I go, "So hey, buddy, by any chance, did you caress my leg last night?" And he goes, "Oh my God, thank you for bringing it up. I thought it was a horrible dream. I'm so sorry."
Honestly, you're asleep. As long as everybody respects each other, you don't know what you're doing. I know I didn't try to take advantage of you, at least not there. Scottish origami Brandon. That's what, in a onesie. I love it. Hey guys, hey Craig, it's good to see you, my friend. Guys, our guest just showed up. We have Craig Gray in the background. Craig is, well, good morning, my friends. Craig is going to come on and he's teaching us all about Krav Maga. And if I'm saying that wrong, I apologize. I really think I said it right. He is a black belt instructor with over 35 years of experience in martial arts and defense tactics. He is a subject matter expert, or an SME, for numerous law enforcement agencies, as well as a nationally syndicated Frontline of Freedom military veteran talk radio show. That's awesome. Craig is responsible for creating the MCOLES, or Michigan Commission of Law Enforcement Standards, approved self-defense law enforcement training program. He is one of 5 key instructors with Resolution Group International, a conflict resolution training organization developed for the needs of military law enforcement and civilian organizations. But he is also a former adjunct instructor for the Hand-to-Hand Tactics and Warrior Ethics program at the Homeland Security and Protective Services Academy within Gerald R. Ford Job Corps. Craig is a head instructor at Robbins Martial Arts Academy and serves as education director for Her Survival Guide and the PeaceWalker Project, organization that teach conflict management skills to a wide variety of educational, health, and security professionals. So guys, he is here. He is ready. He's going to teach us stuff. I hope everybody is tuning in. Do me a favor, drop a hello and let Craig know how honored we are that he has taken time out of his day to come greet us. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Gray.
Morning, Craig. How you doing?
Hey, Gavin. How's it going, man?
Doing very well. Yourself?
Doing all right. I can't complain.
Good. So, tell me a bit. How did you get into self-defense, and why specifically have you chosen that as your passion, your career path?
That's a great question. I got into it as a kid. My dad was a Marine, and my brother was beating the hell out of me a lot. And
older brother or younger brother?
Older brother.
All right. How much older?
3 years.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So pretty close.
Yeah. So my dad thought, hey, we'll get these guys down in the basement, start teaching them martial arts. And that's where it started for me. Eventually, I got to the point where I was able to let my brother know under no uncertain circumstances that he shouldn't touch me anymore.
Yeah.
And it just kind of started from there. So and this is back in the time, because I'm 51, so this is back in the time in the 70s. So you're talking before Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, before Karate Kid and all that. So basically, there weren't really kids classes back in those days. It was predominantly, in martial arts, it was predominantly adults. So I trained with my dad for a few years, and then I started in a professional school. And it just kind of kept going from there. And eventually was learning to teach other people, because I figured, hey, I didn't like being taken advantage of and victimized and so forth. And I saw what it did for me, and I thought other people would enjoy the empowerment of that as well. And so I just started going that route, and eventually it took me to security services, and I started getting hired by police officers and departments and military, and it's been an incredible journey.
So did you have a sort of a character arc that you had to follow through with your confidence, where you're getting whooped on by your brother all the time, and then your dad sort of teaches you self-defense, you started to be able to stand up for yourself more? Was there like your confidence started to really build up to the point where you needed somebody to kind of knock you back down, or was your father and brother always there to make sure you knew where you stood on the totem pole?
Well, that's actually a good question, because that happens a lot, and we can talk about that a little bit. Because I see that a lot with individuals, and you see it a lot in cultures and society. So the underdog becomes the bully. If you think of, there's a guy out there by the name of Dr. John Cartman, and he created what's called the victim triangle. Yeah. And it starts with an individual who's been victimized in some way or feels like they've been victimized. And they often, if it's not dealt with in a healthy way, they often become either a rescuer or a persecutor, right? They become the bullies. So you see that a lot. With my personal demeanor and the mentoring, because I had a lot of really good mentors, my father, my grandfather, later on martial arts instructors that were strong, in this case, male figures in my life, who were able to knock me down when I needed to get a little butt kicking, my own in there. And with my demeanor, I've always been kind of a laid back guy. So I didn't really have that as much. Not to say that I'm totally immune from that by any stretch of imagination, but I usually was a guy who kind of lay back and kick back and not really pushed. As long as you left me alone, I'll leave you alone. But in the same token, I was always there to stand up for myself and other people if they couldn't stand up for themselves. So the idea of being a protector.
I like that. Did you find that it ever caused conflict? Because I know growing up, you have a lot of kids who would always say, oh, I take jujitsu, I take martial arts. And most of them didn't, or they did, but they knew little to nothing because they're kids and they're learning. You growing up, having this skill and having somebody able to teach you and teach you properly, did you find that sometimes it would cause conflicts where you'd have other kids trying to challenge you, just sort of like show like a dominance kind of thing, or just to see if you were really capable of what you're saying that you were doing?
Yeah, I did get some of that. Back in those days, when I was your age, right? Back in those days, there weren't a lot of people who were training. Definitely not a lot of kids. That didn't really happen until like Karate Kid and that type of thing. And like I said, a little bit later. And my dad was, you ever see Heartbreak Ridge with Clint Eastwood?
No, not.
Oh, you gotta check that movie out. But it's Clint Eastwood, anyways. But my dad is that strong, silent type. And hi Brandon, how's it going, man?
I had to run and grab something really quick. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good, dude. We got the same haircut, and
I know. I told Gavin, I'm like, I'm so excited for this guy. I get a bald beard guy that knows Krav Maga. Like, he's my future hero. Like, thank you for coming on. You could be my big brother. How's that?
Yeah, nice. I like it.
So go ahead. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, it's all good. I'm interrupting myself. But anyways, back to your question, Gavin. My dad was always the guy who's very understated. He still does. He's still alive. I was just out. I see my folks quite a bit. Still, he's pushing 80 nowadays. He's in his late 70s. Still strong as an ox, and he bikes probably 250 miles every week, and he's just a good guy. But he was always the guy of, you lead by example. You are understated. You're humble. You never, you don't talk. You do it. So they always encouraged me. My mom was that way too. They've always encouraged me ever since a kid to not tell anybody that you're doing it. Don't flaunt it. Don't wear anything that would indicate that you've got any kind of training and so forth. So that was kind of the big thing back then, and not a lot of people really did it. I mean, there weren't as many kids doing it. So kind of to bring it back around to your other question specifically is, I was also big for my age, right? I was a big kid, and my brother was I want to say badass. I don't know if I want to swear on your show, so I don't.
No,
you're good.
You get as many of everything else as you want. You get one F word, so use it wisely.
So use it wisely. Okay. My brother was like that badass, right? And he was a few years older than I am, so he paved the way of like, don't mess with this kid, because my brother always just kicked the living crap out of me when I was a kid. And but if anybody else touched me, that didn't work, right?
Yeah.
He was like, no, this is my play toy. You don't touch that, right? You don't touch him. So so he really paved the way for me for the older kids, and then the younger kids who are my age. I was big for my age, and everybody knew, since I've been training in the martial arts since I was like 6. Everybody knew I was, not to be messed with, and I had a good demeanor. I was pretty much everybody's friends, and the few times that I did get into fights when I was in school, took care of business, and nobody ever wanted to push it. So
Now, I think that's interesting, because you're saying how you need to, like, you don't wear the material, don't go out and show off that you have, that your parents said. I think that's the polar opposite of what WWE does. They're like, oh, win it, and then put this like trophy over your shoulder and walk around, and if somebody comes near you, use that as your weapon. Like, it's the polar opposite of what you're doing. How did Krav Maga and all of this be able to balance you? Because I think that's the best way I've ever been told this, like whether it's jiu-jitsu, Krav Maga, all of it, it's almost like a meditative state for a lot of men. How do you feel it impacts you?
It has dramatically impacted my life. I mean, I've been training my whole life. I've competed numerous styles. I started in more traditional styles, got into some sport styles. The tactical stuff is obviously the Krav Maga. Trained all over the world, the best instructors in the world. Been very fortunate to come into contact with people from all walks of life, everything from Navy SEALs to, world champions. Trained out with the Gracies. Back in the day, I fought in MMA, fought in point sparring, fought in, full contact kickboxing, all that kind of stuff. Never professional, always amateur. But the idea of, it's kind of the alpha and the omega, right? Mm-hmm. If you feel confident at a very visceral level that you can protect yourself and other people, it's not just about you, but and other people, and you're confident and comfortable with yourself on that, you realize what's a true threat and what's not, what's just blowing smoke. And if you have a good self-esteem, good mentorship, and a good balance of that, then you also know that it's a last resort. You know, your ability to physically defend yourself is a last resort. There's been a lot of actually research studies done about use of force and people with more hand-to-hand, specifically hand-to-hand combatives, that they're more likely to de-escalate and they're more likely to only use more aggressive force if necessary. Most of those studies have been done through military and law enforcement type applications, but they hold true for civilians too.
What made you choose Krav Maga over other fighting styles?
Well, I'm licensed to teach numerous fighting styles. Krav, all these are the good thing we have an hour, because all these are like long stories. There's nothing.
No,
there's
you're
nothing
good, man.
short.
Take your time.
Yeah, you get this is your hour, Craig. So enjoy it.
There's like nothing short about any of my answers. But I was already a black belt and been training for probably a good 20 years before I started in Krav Maga.
Yeah.
At the time I was training I was at a school out in I think it was out in Colorado, getting executive protection training. And basically I ran across and I was training with some Marines that had just gotten off their deployment, and they were training with the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force. And they're like, "Hey man, you're into martial arts. Have you ever heard of this Krav Maga stuff?" And I'm like, well, yeah, it's like that jujitsu stuff, the Jewish jiu-jitsu stuff, And they're like, "Oh, yeah, it is." So they showed me some moves, and I'm like, that's really sweet, right? At that point in time, I was making the transition to doing more executive protection and body. My field work is in executive protection and body work, or bodyguard work. So I was also at that point in time teaching a lot of law enforcement. I started getting hired in the probably early mid 90s to those of you old folks out there remember, the Rodney King incident and that type of thing. And 92 or 94, it was about that period that it really shifted. And a lot of police forces out there past the academy didn't really have a systematized defensive tactics program. So they would hire guys like me, right? And I had, at that point in time, I was teaching, I had my academy going. And I was teaching, and I had some cops that were students, and they would come in train, and they'd say, "Hey man, this is what I ran into last night. What would you do? I couldn't get this guy in the cuffs, or he broke out, or he's resisting arrest, or whatever. What would you do?" So I'm like, and we'd play around some scenarios, and we'd develop some things, and eventually I started to get a reputation, and I started getting hired by different police departments and that to come in and do a seminar and kind of help them work out some of the problems that they were having with hand-to-hand combatives. But anyways, back to the Krav Maga stuff. So when I was out in Colorado training with these guys, and the Marines were students. I don't think they were the instructors. They just had, again, gotten off in deployment in Israel. And started showing me some stuff. And I'm like, that's really cool. And it's really effective. And it's really easy to learn. Because the thing is a lot of the guys, because I teach kind of a few factions, right? I've got the academy where we teach on an ongoing basis. We have a few times a week, we get together, do seminars and that. But most of my work really is working with non-martial artists. Police officers are not martial artists. Military guys are not martial artists. People want to learn how to protect themselves often. They don't want to spend, a lifetime of dedication of, thousands of hours of training, are not martial artists, but they want to be protectors. They want to learn how to protect themselves. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So learning Krav, and when I got introduced to Krav Maga, I'm like, wow, this is really simple. It's also really violent, so you have to have some other stuff too to kind of balance it out. But it's really quite simple to apply and to learn. And it deals with very specific types of threats. So I decided, hey, I should probably get some training in this. And I ended up training first with a few organizations in the United States that were out of Israel. And then eventually I went to Israel several times to both learn and to teach. So I go to Israel every few years and still go out there. Obviously, I was supposed to be going just before Corona hit, and I kind of screwed that over.
Well, Krav Maga is all based off of instinct, isn't it?
It is very instinctual. It's very like some of the stuff that I teach, some of the jiu-jitsu and the taijutsu, which is like a traditional Japanese martial arts. They are oftentimes not instinctual. They're like counterintuitive, and it takes a long time to, like a break fall, for instance. You know, if you fall down, you learn how to break fall. Your instinct is to put your arm out, right? If you push somebody, their instinct is to put their arm out.
Yeah.
So you have to train to do what you're not wanting to do, right? You got to train with some tactics that are counterintuitive to help to protect yourself.
Yes.
But Krav typically is very intuitive. But like I said earlier, it's also typically pretty violent. So it's not appropriate all the time. So you have to have a force continuum, even as a civilian, right? For instance, I don't have any kids myself, but the gal that I've been seeing for quite a few years has 4 girls.
Yeah.
They're young, you know, when we started seeing each other, they were like, you know, elementary school and middle school and high school. And now they're middle school, high school, and married. But point is what are you going to do? You know, they're acting up. They're teenagers. Are you going to Krav Maga them? You know, are you going to kick them in the groin and poke them in the eye and, you know,
judo chop?
You might
do your homework
sometimes.
Hey, they have to learn. They have to learn it too at one point or another. I mean, you're just helping bring them up safely.
Right. And sometimes you really want to do that to your kids, I know.
Yep.
But you can't, right? You need to have some other tools. Just like in, you know, I teach a lot of not only military and law enforcement, but I also teach a lot of school teachers. I also teach a lot of medical professionals, you know, who, you know, when you send your kid to school, you don't want the teacher beating the crap out of them. You know, nowadays you'll lose your job and, you know, be in a lawsuit. But the opposite holds true as well. You know, you want them to be able to deal with conflict and physical conflict. Why? Because kids get into physical conflicts. You know, kids haven't developed the kind of wherewithal yet of, you know, mitigating their emotions and so forth. So sometimes they go fisticuffs. And, you know, this is not what a lot of people want to hear, but sometimes with guys, it's all right. You know, as long as it doesn't go too far, but it's all right. You know, we want to grow up. We want to grow boys to be men and, you know, girls to be women. We want to grow adults. We don't want to grow dependent individuals who can't handle their own conflicts. But that's way of learning, right? It's like, well, that's not how you should probably be.
I think as long as you're not sending somebody to the hospital with 3 broken ribs, a broken nose, and 2 broken fingers, like, you're fine. Kids are going to fight. Let them fight. They got to figure it out somehow.
That's right. But at the same point, like in high school, like I remember when I had hair, somebody wanted to get in a fight with me because he didn't like my haircut. And the funny thing was when we got into the fight and I broke his nose, I saw he was on the ground. I didn't just keep kicking him. Right. And that's the difference. It's and that's where it comes in. As kids, you just kind of keep going. And then if you see, like the other day, we watched there was a fight at the New York Yankees Boston game that got brutal, like tons of fans throwing each other over seats. It was bad. Yeah. And I'm sitting there watching this, and you see people putting their hands out trying to stop it, and nobody's listening. They're just grabbing these people that are trying to do stuff, and they're punching them and all that. There's a difference between a mindset and a training. It's I'm going to fight for my life compared to am I fighting for a reason? With that being said, you're former military and police.
Back up. I'm not. I have not been in the military, and I'm not a police officer.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
He's trained both of those.
I've trained both of them, yeah.
That is often
confused. That is often confused. And no, when I was a young man, I thought about going to the Marines a couple times. My dad talked me out of it. So I never ended up going in the military. And I've never been a cop. No, my field experience is in executive protection in bodyguard work.
All right. So who's the coolest person you ever got to bodyguard for? You can't say, can you?
Nah, nobody would know. Nobody would know.
Oh, Eminem. He's from Michigan, so that's what
I've done some folks out of Detroit because I'm in Grand Rapids. I've done some folks out of Detroit and Chicago and that. Most of the clients that I had in the day, I don't really do much of it anymore, and I haven't for quite a few years. But I still do once in a while. I'll do something, but both domestically and overseas. And one of the things too is I would sometimes get partnered up with details that were with police officers or with military. So that was always interesting as well, especially with the overseas stuff. But anyways, most of the guys that I would oversee would be businessmen or like mid-level politicians and their families.
When you were doing bodyguard, when you're bodyguarding, protecting these people, are you doing like the classic, what you think of, like you're escorting them from their cars to the areas, or are you doing more of like almost like an undercover thing where like you go to a restaurant and you sit near where they're gonna be at and just keep an eye on the area and make sure, more like how an officer on a flight, you don't actually, the passengers don't know who the flight officer is, but he's there making sure that everything is safe.
Yeah, we've done both. Absolutely done both. Sometimes it's just, you being around and making sure everything's cool and nothing goes down. You do a perimeter check previous and you do some research on what's going on. It used to be a lot harder before Google.
Yeah.
Right. You'd have to actually get some intel and call around. Nowadays, it's easy to get most of it online. But, and then other times it would be, driving the car, you got a chauffeur's license, driving the car and, bring them to Myers or whatever, holding their groceries and loading the car for them. A lot of the stuff, I mean, oh yeah, it's, you get on some of the details, you're like a personal assistant.
Yeah.
Really? That's interesting to me. I wouldn't think that I'm going to phrase this in the best way I think I can. They're hiring you to make sure they're safe. And then they're giving you their groceries to carry or their laundry. It seems kind of counterintuitive in my eyes. Like your hands are now full to be able to protect them. Like, does that make sense?
Oh, it does. I know. You'd be
I can imagine you at like Walmart and you're putting away these groceries and right next to you is some kid trying to pay for college and he smiles at you and all you think in your mind is, with this pinky, I could break you.
So true. So
no, I mean, a lot of it is not what people think. It's not like it looks in the movies. I've had some very interesting experiences with it. Met some cool people. Met some not cool people. Have had some dangerous things happen. But you have a handful of stories over a lifetime of work. A lot of the stuff is just you doing the mundane things, right? But the thing is that you're the one who's prepared, who's ready to jump in and do something when things go south. Hopefully not, right? If you're doing your job well, hopefully things don't go south, right? Hopefully you can kind of catch things before they get to be a problem. But inevitably, if you're at it long enough, something's going to happen somewhere along the road.
Yeah.
So you've worked with all these, like I'm right now, guys, look at this. This is all the law enforcement. These are the government agencies he's worked with. Craig, this is a lot of places you've been teaching. And then all of a sudden I spot mental health care. So explain that to me and how you're helping them and what's going on with everything you do with the mental health stuff, because that's a big thing we talk about here. And the people I know that have done from Krav Maga to Jiu-Jitsu, they all say the same thing. It was something that truly helped them be better mentally. It helped them push to another level. With you helping mental health locations and all this, what would you say is something that like helped them, or is there something you would say that it just drew you to them?
It did. The interesting thing is I've done and been keynote at many conferences, like the Michigan Counseling Association conference, Michigan Teaching Social Association counseling or conference, the West Michigan Counseling Association's conference, and so forth, where I don't have a PhD in psychology or anything. I got a degree, but I don't have a master's degree or PhD level degree in psychology or anything. And here I am. I'm like the guy who's the keynote speaker, and they're very interested at what I have to say. And here's why. Being a protector. Well, let me back up for a second. So when I was doing research for the first time I did a keynote for the Michigan Counselors Association, I was putting together my slide presentation, and I think I had like a half an hour, 45 minutes to talk. And I've kind of put together a story and had some points that I wanted to get across and teach, but people don't want to just hear information. They want to be entertained. So they want to hear stories. But at the initial portion of my presentation, I you know what a word cloud is? You know, there's one word in the middle and all the associated words around it. So I put up the word leader. So because they wanted me to do something on leadership and so forth. And you know, one word that was missing out of the leader word cloud, that if you don't have this one thing, you're not a leader. Hands down, you're not a leader.
Stoicism.
I like stoicism, but it's not that one. Okay, Brandon, now it's your turn. What's your guess?
Well, a leader, I think you need to use your ears. You need to hear what's going on and listen to people. Like I'm picturing the words that are inside there. So using your ears. Leader ears.
It would be a good one. What do you think is the key thing that they did not have and people don't think about? They're starting to nowadays, but they didn't think about it, and they often still don't. And this has been happening even now, right? With our pandemic and race riots happening.
Is it empathy?
That's not where I was going.
Oh, damn it!
That was where I was going. I'm like, it has to be empathy, and then Gavin said it. I'm like, crap. Now I'm stuck. Is it
chase?
What'd you say?
I say I'll cut to the chase. Protector. To be a protector.
Interesting. Okay.
So I forgot.
Because if you're a leader and you're not a protector, you are not a leader. You could be a manager. You could manage people, but you are not a leader. If your people are not safe that you're leading, you are not a leader.
I would have thought that would have been one of the first things they put up.
It is when you hear it, right? When you hear it viscerally, you go, absolutely. But people, it's very counterintuitive. Back to the analogy of talking about Krav Maga being intuitive or you know, the martial arts and the break falls to where you gotta not put your arm out when you're falling, and how it takes training to do that, and your body's kind of intuitively doing something that's going to hurt it. But when somebody hears it, of like, of course, when somebody hears, okay, you got a leader, you got to be a protector. They say exactly what you said. Of course. Now, every time you look at something like that, you're going to go, well, you got to be a protector. Because if I don't feel safe when you're leading me, you're not my leader. You might be my manager. I might have to follow you. You know, if I want to keep a job, I might have to follow your law or face the consequences if I don't. But if you don't protect me and those policies and procedures don't protect me, you're not a good leader.
Okay.
So we kind of started there from that on that particular keynote. That became my keynote, to be honest with you. That little kind of discovery. And kind of circle back around, Brandon, a little bit to what you were asking me. The approach that I teach, I call it PeaceWalker, being a PeaceWalker, right? So it has 4 elements. One is the right mindset, right? You have to have the right mindset. And that mindset's made up of 3 things. Number 1 is the belief. And the belief of your ethic of being a protector, of protecting the right things, that all life is precious. All life is deserving to have dignity and respect and to be protected. Mm-hmm. Now, that sounds pretty intuitive. However, you know, in some of these exercises that we go over with people, well, what about rapists? Well, what about murderers? Well, what about terrorists? Well, what about people who would harm you? What about them? Mm-hmm. So here's the conundrum. You have to be able to separate that person's value as a human being, their life value, as Dr. Robert Humphrey would call it, from their behaviors and sometimes their beliefs. And you have to appropriately manage their behavior while simultaneously showing respect to their value as a human being, even if you have to take that life. Because you don't take it because they're less than you. You take it because there was no choice in the force continuum, and you exhausted every other way of either getting out of that situation or dealing with it if you had to deal with it to protect life, yourself or another person, because the person wasn't able to do that. Now, that's a hard pill to swallow. That's a hard task, because what happens is we kind of put someone's behavior as their worth.
It really does. We do, and we leave it there too. It's we evaluate people on their worth. So you like if you're talking like a musician that's never played in front of a crowd, you're not going to really count them as a musician. You're going to say, oh, you could play an instrument. For you, I have a question, Craig, about like, did you see any royalties from the movie The Bodyguard? Because I heard that it was based on you.
I'm still waiting for the check, man. I'm still waiting for the check.
I read that and I'm like, I gotta pull that in here somehow. Like I gotta make that in here. Bob Seymour says a leader is a servant first. I wish I could hang out, but I have to go. He's one of our regulars. It's unfortunate we don't get to see him today, but I know would love what you're doing and what you're talking about. Bob is former Marines or Army. Gavin, do you remember?
Bob?
Bob. I thought it was Army.
Yeah, don't get them confused, man. Those guys.
No. We have an Air Force, an Army, and
I want to say he's Army because I know that Brett is Air Force and that
Brian Tracy is Marines.
Brian is Marines. Yes.
Yep.
Nice.
So we're trying to remember to make sure we don't say the wrong thing.
Right.
Now, with that being there and training and all this, you've trained so many different people, but is there like a genre that you like to train? Meaning, I like to see somebody like my 9-year-old niece gets really into like her jujitsu class to her things like that. And she's 9 and I'm already noticing a difference. Now, she's not separated this is when you need to fight to this is when you don't. And her 38-year-old uncle who weighs 200 pounds, she thinks she can take down with ease. It makes it fun. And like I knock her over and I push her around and all that. But Bob is a Marine. I'm getting yelled at already. Both of you guys both of you go bury your heads in the sand. See? Glad. Sorry. But with that, have you noticed that like a genre that you like to teach? Like for me, I would picture like kids. I would think like getting the younger generation into a better mindset as a younger generation. It's self-defense. It's all these great things, but it helps in so many different ways. And to get that at a younger age, I would think that would be, we were talking beginning of the show, why aren't physical education teachers? I almost said the wrong one there, Gavin. Did you catch that? Why aren't physical education teachers out there teaching something like this? This sounds like it should be a requirement. What are your thoughts on that?
I totally agree with you. I think every school should have some training in martial arts. Absolutely should. At least get the kids introduced to it. And I don't care what kind of martial arts. It could be jiu-jitsu, could be boxing, it could be wrestling. It doesn't matter. It could be Krav Maga. I don't care. As long as it's taught in the right way, right? As long as it's taught with the right ethic and done in a healthy way. Because this idea of, we're all protectors, right? We are all protectors. So, and protectors are, you want to be clear because a lot of people start protecting the wrong things under pressure, right? Under pressure, it starts off maybe on the right spot, but then it starts going down the wrong path, right? Mm-hmm. It starts being an ego thing or a respect thing or whatever thing, but it's kind of not what it originally started off as. And we got to be careful of that. So under pressure, we've got to be able to toggle between like our reptilian brain of like, fight, flight, or freeze. Yeah. It's like, and if you're aggressive, well, guess what? You feel that feeling and you're ready to do the beat down on somebody. So we got to toggle back and forth between that and our logical brain. So, how do I manage the situation and clearly see things? And then in the middle, you got your social brain in there, thinking, what are the social norms? I mean, look at what's been happening during the pandemic. You got people beating the crap out of each other who are wearing masks or aren't wearing masks. And that's social conditioning, right? So, hey, you're a rule breaker. I'm going to beat you down. So you're not following the rules, right? The other person's like, well, you're not going to, and I'm not picking sides here. Obviously, I have opinions, but that's not for this show. But, either side is dehumanizing the opposite, right? And demonizing the opposite side on the extremes. And then the clashes happen because we forget what we're protecting. We forget oftentimes that the idea of protection of life is so huge, but we start protecting the wrong things. And So to keep that clear, we've got if we have training on a physical level, it's easier to clarify that if you train in the right way, right? So that's the alpha, right? But you also have to have different tools. So to bring back to kind of one of your questions that we went down the rabbit hole on, Brandon, was, what do I teach these mental health care workers? I don't teach them just physical skills. The PeaceWalker approach is made up of 4 areas, like I was saying. One is mindset, and that is that ethic and belief that life is valuable, and your identity as a protector. That's one of our deepest identities, is that of a protector, right?
Yeah.
And then what is your attitude in the moment? Meaning, to make it simple, can you take conflict and turn it into an opportunity? Now, obviously an opportunity to grow, but also an opportunity for you to see exactly how the situation needs to be handled if you have the skills and the mindset to do it. Mm-hmm. So, aside from that mindset, then you also need some other things. You need awareness of yourself, of the situation, of the other individuals. You need to have influence strategies. How do you, through your presence, through your verbal skills or through your nonverbal skills, how do you influence the situation to the best of your abilities? And then finally, action. Can you, if you have to engage physically, can you see it enough to avoid it? If you're in it, can you escape it? What's your exit strategy? And if you can't escape it or choose not to escape it, how do you engage it? How do you engage that physically? And then do you have the tools to engage it? And there's 3 main tools, escaping or stun and run, incapacitating the individual. And that could be everything, think of force continuum. That could be kicking the person in the shins enough to distract him, or it could be, taking him out of the picture. Yeah. And then finally, which is the most challenging, is restrain and control. Can you restrain and control the individual if you had to under the circumstances? So those are the 4 kind of areas that we go through in all of our programs, and always starts with the ethic of being a protector, the ethic that life is valuable, and everything needs to be a reflection of that. Yeah. So your ethics are going to then drive your mission, basically, or your objective, and that objective is going to drive your strategies. Your strategies drive your tactics, and your tactics drive your techniques. The problem, I know it's a mouthful, but the problem is most of the time when you train, you start with techniques. Hey, triangle choke and do this situation. Hey, here's how here's your stance as you're shooting or tools, right? Hey, look at this new taser that we're going to use, so we don't have to have hand-to-hand combative classes anymore. Or, hey, no, you just take your gun out and shoot them. Well, that's a problem too. So you can't rely just on the tools. The tools are good, but they still have to support and reflect the ethic.
100%. Now, I was on your website. I'm going to pull that up here for everybody. Craig, you're giving away a 6-day or 6-class, I don't want to say it wrong, program for your PeaceWalker.net. I was going through here. First off, I absolutely love this T-shirt. I want to get one myself. Train your body like a soldier, your mind.
Hey, Brandon,
like
you give me your address and your size, and I'll send Gavin too. You guys give me your address and your size, and I'll send you one.
Oh my God, I would wear it on air with pride, 100%. So you have a get started with my free 6-day defense quick start program. Get started now. Guys, I just provided the link. Make sure you click on that link. Go sign up. Get your 6 days in, because you don't know what kind of influence this is going to have on your life. You don't know where it's going to change. And you can see just by Craig's energy, he's bringing something that he's passionate about, something he's proud of, and he's found his niche in this world, and he's teaching you how to build your best you. That is essential in life. And what are you laughing at me on? Like, he's
just smiling. I can't smile. I can't enjoy what you're talking about.
I'm like Gavin, don't let Brandon go, man. He's like doing his thing.
And then Gavin's over here laughing at me. None of my dad jokes this morning made Gavin laugh. We had a dad joke competition, and he didn't laugh at all. And I'm chuckling at my own jokes. I'm like, okay. So
they were bad jokes.
They all were bad jokes. Dad jokes are usually bad. It's all in the delivery. And apparently my 2 people were like, yeah, I'm going to mute Brandon today. I'm like, aw. But with that, Craig, COVID hit, and mental health is at a lowest it's been in decades, like ever almost. How did you see a change in people that you were teaching and your business through COVID? And would you say that's a positive, or how did you find the positives through that?
it was crazy as it was for everybody, right? It was definitely crazy for everybody. And I have a few factions of my business or organization, I guess. One is the academy, the physical local Krav Maga academy, where we get together, every week, a few times a week and all that. And then I've got my departmental and speaking engagements, my departmental training, where I travel around and I teach, police departments or hospitals or whatever. And that made up a lot of my time. And then I have the PeaceWalker, PeaceWalker.net, which is a totally online learning resource. So those are the three things that drive me crazy all the time, trying to juggle everything. And it's probably a little bit too much, but it is what it is. So my speaking engagements and departmental training got totally wiped out.
Yeah.
I'm usually booked out 6-8 months in advance, and I've got a full schedule. I'm flying around, traveling around all the time. With several, at my peak, I think I was doing about 130 engagements a year. I cut it down from that, because if you do the math on that, it's like, whoa, that's crazy. So I cut it down. So in the past several years, I probably do about, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 engagements a year, on top of teaching at the academy and so forth. But so that got wiped out. PeaceWalker actually grew, the online resource. That probably pretty predictably that grew, because people were home and people were afraid and people wanted to, kind of learn some things. So that grew about 20 or 30%. And then the academy, believe it or not, we stayed stable. We didn't really lose much, or we didn't gain much. Obviously, for a while, we weren't doing the monthly seminars, but we switched, because I had PeaceWalker.net as an online community. I was able to toggle very quickly to online classes. So we toggled. I don't know, where are you guys at? Where are you?
Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, okay. So you're my neighbor almost, right?
Yeah. I was gonna say that. I was like, I'm actually I love Grand Rapids. Been there a couple different times. My sister lives right outside of there. So for me, I like, when I was reading your bio, I was cracking up. I'm like, I could go visit him and have him be. I'm like,
for summer.
I honestly want to, because I would love to have you and I video you teaching me stuff, and you can beat the shit out of me. It would be great.
It'd really do good things for your ratings too.
It would. So the question that I was asked on the side is the dilemma Brandon has: do you wear a onesie, or does he wear a gi? Now, I do have my Tasmanian Devil Space Jam onesie right here ready, just in case you told me to get a gi on. I wanted to be prepared. I put it to the side. I was ready for you today, buddy.
Nice. I'll tell you what. I will add some spice to the sauce of those T-shirts. If you want to come up, either one of you guys, to a seminar, it's on me. You can be my guest. So
I would do that in a heartbeat. Let's schedule that, Gavin.
Yeah.
After this, let's schedule it so we can make sure we go up there and you and I can beat the shit out of each other, but then Craig can beat us both up at the same time. I love this.
So here's the catch though. Right now, I'm just getting because we usually at the beginning of every year, I put the full year schedule of all the seminars going up. Right now, I only have one listed for this month, but which is Sunday, by the way. So come on out. But I'll list the rest of the seminars probably within the next week or two. So you'll have a whole list of different things that you could go to.
Awesome.
But yeah, you guys can be my guests. You can come out and train. Be a good day of training. And don't worry, you'll do fine. It'll be good.
No, that sounds like a blast.
He says, "Don't worry, you'll do fine." I'm sitting here going, "Oh, that sounds so much more intimidating than I think I want it to sound." I got nervous all of a sudden.
Well, the whole idea is let me tell you a story like I told some young hard charger coming into my studio one time. The idea of, because first thing he came into, this guy wanted to train Krav Maga or whatever, and first thing he asked is, "Hey, do you guys spar?" Which usually when that's the first question out of somebody's mouth, it's not a good sign.
Yeah, because that means they're looking for conflict. They're looking to fight.
Yeah, or most of them, they're young men. They want to. Here's the big thing today, and this isn't going to be politically correct out there, so I apologize for anybody. No, I don't. I don't apologize at all. But men want to feel like men, and in today's society, that it's a struggle. for a lot of. So I get young men and middle-aged men who've never really conquered their dragon, so to speak. They never really stood up to that bully, and they don't feel empowered as a man, and to do it in a healthy way. You know, this whole idea of toxic masculinity and all this type of thing. It's permeated in our culture, and a lot of men feel very shameful. They're very, very shamed or oppressed in ways. And I think this is kind of back to one of your stories about people at the stadium throwing each other off from the bleachers and all that. And we can get into like school shootings and active shooting events and all this. But if you look at the demographics of those people, most of them have been bullied or they feel slighted for their whole life. Most of them are white guys, urbanites. And I think there's a lot that has to be done as far as growing in a positive way and embracing yourself as a man. So a lot of guys come to me, and they don't know it. If you were to ask them, you would know that. They wouldn't know that. But they want to go through the gauntlet. They want to know and prove to themselves that, hey, I have this internal power. I've got power as an individual, and I know how to wield that and use it. And with good mentoring, you can use it wisely, and you can use it in a healthy manner. But back to my story. So he comes in. First thing he asks is, "Do you guys spar?" And we do spar. We have different sparring classes, but that's not the focal point of the academy. And it's definitely, usually it's about a year or so before we start putting in the sparring situations. And it's all voluntary. You can go to the academy and not spar at all if you wanted to. But he kept asking me these questions, and they all dealt with, basically fighting. And I said, okay, let me kind of outline something for you. Our academy teaches protectors. So to put it into terms that maybe you can understand, think of an Olympic swimmer and a lifeguard. They both swim, right?
Yeah.
So you could say that they're both swimmers, and they both have to be strong swimmers. But the way they train, their mindset are totally different.
Yeah.
Who does the Olympic swimmer swim for?
Themselves,
right? They say they're on a team representing the country. I call BS. I only see one guy on the Wheaties box. I don't see the whole team there. I see the one guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. I was a competitor when I was younger. I competed for many years. Like I said, always amateur, but I have competed for many years. And nothing wrong with that, to prove to yourself and to, excel in that way. I think it's good to do. And the way that individual trains as an Olympic swimmer, they have to be good at a couple different types of, strokes, a couple different types of swim. And so they have to be an incredible athlete. There's a shelf life on that person, right? You don't see a 50-year-old in there, burning down the house with his cool swimming moves. Bad analogy, but you know what I mean.
I like how you phrase it.
Breaststrokes.
Right.
Yep. It's like, oh snap, he's flipping over. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm just hoping not to drown nowadays.
Yeah.
But you take a lifeguard, right? Who is a lifeguard swimming for?
Everybody else.
Everybody else. They're a protector, right?
Yeah.
But they still have to know how to swim. So if you're not a strong swimmer as a lifeguard, guess what? You're not a lifeguard. You're a corpse, right?
Yeah.
But the other thing too is the training's different. So the mindset's different going in. The mindset of a lifeguard is, hey, I'm going to go in to be a protector. But that means I also have to learn how to swim and be a really strong swimmer. I don't have to be the fastest dude in the pool, but I've got to learn how to swim well. But here's the other thing. It's a larger skill set, right? You have to not just learn how to swim. You've got to learn first aid. You've got to learn CPR. You've got to learn how to be a leader. When little Johnny wants to go out in the waves, you're like, no, buddy, that's a rip current out there. You're going to stay right here. And then mom comes up and starts yelling at you because you're not letting little Johnny go on the lake. And you're like, no, here's why. So you got to be a leader. You got to know how to work small watercraft. You have to understand how to communicate clearly, work radios and so forth. You have to know how to read weather conditions. You have to know, what's dangerous, what's not. So the skill set is much larger. Now, one of those things is learning how to swim. One of those things. And to add fuel to the fire of that, you've got to learn how to swim and support someone else too, right? How do you tread water while you're holding on someone? How do you pull somebody out from the water when you're swimming with them? How do you pull them on top, on top of the life raft? How do you drag them to shore? So the same thing with our classes, right? The idea of class is you're learning to be a protector. Yes. So the analogy goes, yeah, you have to learn how to fight, but not like an MMA guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be competent, but hello, Jane. But just like the lifeguard. So you take an average lifeguard, they're not going to be able to beat an Olympic swimmer.
Right.
Yeah.
But who's going to be a better lifeguard? The Olympic swimmer can swim, but he doesn't have any other skill set, or she doesn't have any of the other skill set that lifeguard needs. They have one thing.
They can swim fast.
So they can swim fast, and they're strong swimmers, and they're probably young and athletic and in shape. And that's really, really, really important. But it's also important to have all those other skills. So when I'm teaching people, whether it's a mental health care worker, a police officer, a military personnel, or a civilian, it's about learning all those things. How do you have the right ethic? How do you train properly? How do you have that right mindset, right? How do you have the correct awareness for what we're talking about of protection of oneself and others? How do you have the right influence? How do you influence people? How do you talk to them? How do you de-escalate circumstances? How do you persuade people to doing what you need to do? What do you do when nice doesn't work?
Yeah.
How do you act in a certain way under stress if it does go physical? But that is only one of the tools of this larger thing. So I tell the story to this kid, and he smiles and nods his head and blah, blah, blah. And I never see him again, but that's all right. Probably there's other schools out there that probably would be good.
My final question for you is, you've seen in the past 50 or so years, you've seen the evolution of how it went from being a very underground thing where you were only being a part of it because you were taught by your father, who was a Marine, to then it got put into pop culture, things like Ninja Turtles, Karate Kid, etc. And then WWE, MMA became very big, all these other things, how it's become more prevalent. And on top of that, it's not very accessible for the average person and youth to get access to that. What do you see is the next step? What do you see as the future in mixed martial arts altogether and self-defense training?
Well, that's a really good question, Gavin. There's what the future may transpire into, and there's the future that I would like for things to go.
Yeah, please elaborate.
I think MMA is going to continue to evolve. I think MMA is going to continue to get more popular as the fans become more sophisticated in their. You already see what it's done to boxing. I mean, when I first started in like jiu-jitsu and MMA, BJJ and MMA, nobody did it. It was illegal in Michigan. It was illegal in most states in our nation, right? I had to go either Canada or I think Indiana, Colorado. There were different places that you could, even at an amateur level, get sanctioned to fight. Now, it's all over. I was the first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, MMA school in our area for years. I was getting out when it was getting popular, right? I got out. My last fight was probably 2002 or 2003. I think I was in my early 30s. And we had a competition team at the school and so forth. And then I was kind of transitioning out. I had some injuries that I couldn't get through for a couple of years, and that kind of took me out of the sport game. Not that I could have entered back in, but it was fine for what it was, for how long it was. It was time to move on. But my point is now, back then, pay-per-view, they were doing decent with the UFCs and so forth, but nothing compared to boxing. Yeah. Boxing was huge. Well, now boxing takes a back seat to MMA. The fighters now are getting paid millions of dollars, where back for many, many, many years, those MMA fighters didn't get paid jack. I mean, they didn't get paid anything.
No.
And I think Hoist from the first UFC got like what, 60 grand or something. I mean, it wasn't that much money, right? So I think you're going to continue to see MMA get more popular. I think you're going to see more schools. I think you're going to see like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu get more popular. I think you're going to see more schools on that. And if it's done in the right way, with the right ethics, with a good coach, I think it's all positive thing. I think it's a really good thing. So hopefully we just have more good leaders, more clear protectors out there that are teaching this next generation and the generation that's out there now what it means to be able to stand up for yourself and protect other people if they can't protect themselves, but do it in a way that's ethical.
Right.
One of my mentors and friends, his name is Jack Holden. He's a former Marine. He still teaches Marines. He's a phenomenal world-class martial artist. The Resolution Group International that I refer to in my bio, that's his organization. So I've got my own organization that I do this type of training for companies and departments, but I'm also a part of his. And he had all these stories, right? He had a mentor. His name was Dr. Robert Humphrey. And Dr. Humphrey was also a Marine on Iwo Jima. If you remember your history, Iwo Jima, Mount Suribachi, where the Marines were hoisting up the flag on the mountain there. Yeah. Well, it was his unit that was securing that position at the time. And he was in a platoon. The platoon's got about 40 guys in it. And I think there were only like 9 left. And he was like the 4th lieutenant. So the other 3 got killed. And he ended up getting shot at 18 days into Iwo Jima. And after he got out of the service in World War II, he's thinking to himself, well, why are we so hell-bent on killing ourselves, right? Why is mankind so interested in just this conflict? So he went to Harvard, got a law degree from Harvard, didn't really answer any of his questions. So, right? So he went on and got a kind of the equivalent of a PhD. I think it was a JD, but in cross-culture conflict management from the Fletcher School of Diplomacy. And then he ended up working for MIT for a while, and he got hired by the State Department. So he worked for the Department of Defense for like 30 some odd years of how to, back in those days, Cold War days, you had kind of the same thing that's happening now, right? You had a lot of military installations all over the world, and we were trying to protect them from the onslaught of what we thought, communists coming through and trampling over a lot of these, especially Eastern European countries and Southeast Asia, Vietnam and all this type of stuff. Yeah. Well, as you know, they wanted us out of their countries a lot. So there was a lot of animosity, and we weren't doing ourselves any favors. There was a book called The Ugly American written by, I think, some French guy back in the 50s, because we were being jerks, right? We were being jerks when we were on base there and treating people disrespectfully. Well, it was Humphrey's job to go around and kind of mend those fissures, mend those conflicts. Yeah. So in 35 years, that's what he did. He jumped around. He was behind the scenes of all these conflicts, like Vietnam. He was behind the scenes trying to help with the military get along with the indigenous people. The Bay of Pigs, if you remember the missile crisis. The missile crisis, when the USSR was, giving missiles to Castro to put on Cuba, a lot of people don't realize that was initiated because we put missile silos in Turkey. Right?
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was a response of the USSR at the time. The Soviets are going, oh, if you're going to put them in our backyard, well, guess what? We're going to put them in your backyard. Right? So Humphrey was kind of behind the scenes in all those areas. Trying to make sure that our military bases stayed in good relations with the countries that they were in, so they didn't boot us out. Yeah. And he had what he called the warrior creed. And Jack, who I was telling you about, Jack was kind of his protege for about 17 years. And Humphrey died in, I think, 1997 or something like that. But he wrote some good books, and we can put them in show notes or something if you want. But he had a warrior creed that really, I think, exemplifies this idea of being a protector, or this idea of being a warrior. And it's this: wherever you go, everyone's a little bit safer because you're there. Wherever you are, anyone in need has a friend. And whenever you go home, everyone's glad you're there. He thought it was a better life, and that has been my experience over the years. And Jack had shared it. Well, Humphrey shared that with Jack, and Jack shared it with me, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And this is what we share, and this is the ethic that we bring to all of our programs, whether it's at the academy, whether I'm teaching solo at any police department across this fine land of ours, or at the hospitals or schools or whoever I can run across. That's kind of this idea of being a protector, a peace walker, this lifeguard. Yeah, you have to be able to, fight, so to speak, but it's more than that. It should be more than that. And this idea of how do I protect human life? How do I treat it with respect and dignity? And how do you manage those conflicts when nice doesn't work? And how do you do that in an ethical way? And those are some of the questions that, we're addressing in our law enforcement communities now, and definitely in our communities all over the United States.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah,
this has been an absolutely amazing episode. We're actually coming up on the end here, and what we like to do at the end is we go around the board and we say a final word. I will start, and then we'll have Brandon go, and then you as the guest will take us out.
I'll do my best.
Yeah.
You got it.
You've done phenomenal for the past hour, so I think you'll be fine.
Yes.
So what I would like to take from today's episode is that I've found in life I feel safe and secure and comfortable when I serve myself first. However, I feel happy and joy and purpose when I serve others. And there needs to be balance in that. You need to make sure that you are taken care of before you take care of others. However, to really enjoy yourself and to really enjoy the things that you're capable of doing, you do find the most happiness when you serve and protect other people. So make sure that your basic needs are met, and then always give what you can.
Very well said, buddy. Very well said. For me, it's... I say this as I know what I'm going to have to do after this. It's step outside your comfort zone. If something that is making you stay stagnant and not grow means you're needing to step outside your comfort zone and find a new thing that challenges you. And I know that I've been talking about taking exercise classes such as Krav Maga, jiu-jitsu and stuff. I've also been talking about doing stand-up / other things to try getting outside of my comfort zone. The thing is, you never know who's going to step into your life and actually say, hey, come, I'll teach you and beat the shit out of you. And honestly, I love that. So, Craig, I'm going to be taking you up on that. I'm going to be stepping outside of my comfort zone. I'm signing up for an improv class as well. It's about building up my best self. And when you do that for you, the world changes around you because you surround yourself with others who are building themselves up. So make sure to take a moment today to find what's your comfort zone and break out of it.
Nice. Well, first off, guys, I really wanted to thank you two for having me on your show, and thank all you folks that are out there live listening to me, and who's ever going to be listening on the replays. But it always just brings joy to my heart. It's probably a little too touchy feely, but it's true that. Well, I'm going to tell you a short story. I'll try to keep it really short, guys. I know we're at the end here. One of my Israeli colleagues, his name is Moshe Katz. He runs one of the largest Krav Maga organizations in the world, and I've known him for well over a decade. And he was asked one time in Upper Michigan. He was up in Traverse City, Michigan, doing a seminar, and he was asked by one of the participants there one time in a Q&A, Moshe, do you think that the conflict between the Arabs and the Jewish people will ever be resolved? And he said, I don't think it's going to ever be resolved by politics. I think it's going to be resolved one coffee at a time, meaning that you get together with another human being, you sit down over coffee or a beer or wine or whatever you're going to drink, and you talk as human beings, and you connect as human beings, and you listen with empathy on their story, and you share your story, and you see them as a human being. And that, kind of going to Brandon's point too, is you have to have courage to do that. if you don't have the courage to do that, you'll never have the opportunity, because you'll never allow yourself to have the opportunity in that. It's easy, it is easy to show respect to people that are like you. It's easy to show respect with people who believe the same thing you believe and think the same way you think and have the political views that you do and all that kind of stuff. It's really challenging to find the respect at a human level for the individual when you don't necessarily like some of their behaviors and some of their beliefs. But get down to that. We have more alike than we have differences. There's more things that we have that are alike as human beings than differences. And we've got to get to that part of it. And if you are confident in your abilities to manage conflict inside of you and around you, it's easier to do. So through your training of embracing this conflict and violence so you can diminish it, that's the idea of being a peace walker. I'll end with this. Emil Lichtenfeld, who is credited as being the kind of the father of Krav Maga by some groups. He was the first Israeli Defense Force Krav Maga instructor and created the program. And he had a quote. He said, "One trains so you can walk in peace. You train so you can walk in peace." That's how I came up with the name PeaceWalker. You train to deal with conflict inside of you and around you so you can walk in peace. And then when something occurs to where nice doesn't work, you know how to handle yourself. So you're not as afraid. You're not as reactionary. So thank you, gang, for having me on. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys listening to me and let me know if there's any way that I can be of help on your journey. So.
You already are. We're going to come up to Grand Rapids and let you beat the crap out of Gavin and I at the same time. Teach us how to do that. Like our goal is when we leave Grand Rapids, I want us both to be able to beat 2 people up at once. So that way, if we're walking down the road, we can beat 4 people up when they attack us. We don't have to worry.
Nice. How about this? How about you be able to protect 4 people?
Oh, that's better. That's way better. Way better. You see, positive mindset, negative mindset. I need to change this. I'm coming up there. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Brandon Croucher, Gavin Kerr, Craig Gray. I was going to make a joke about like how there's no gray area with Craig. It's always going to be black and white. But then I'm like, that's not true. Like he's like the master of gray area. He's like, no, let's protect. That's everything.
I was born in the gray area, right?
Oh yeah. So Craig, thank you so much. Stick around after the show. Gavin and I will talk addresses and make sure we connect with you and plan this a little bit. But guys, tune in tomorrow morning. We'll be back, Gavin and I, at 10 a.m. Go give Craig's PeaceWalker. The website is right here for the last link of the day, guys. Thank you very much, Craig, for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor. Go click that link, follow along, and make sure to give Craig some love and support. Once again, thank you guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thanks, guys.